hunting has been banned. Former designated hunting zones will be turned into photographic areas. Government acknowledges that this might lead to a temporary drop in revenue.
I have experienced the challenges that we've seen in Botswana in 2014 when the hunting was stopped.
The government has lifted the country's ban on hunting.
The government now says elephants raid crops, kill livestock, and destroy water supplies.
A farmer is never further than 400 meters away from an elephant.
They say that scores of people have been killed and injured by elephants over recent years.
27,000 of those elephants are having direct encounters and conflict with the small farmers in the rural communities.
Is the challenge that human beings are encroaching on their ecosystem and we're getting tremendous competition?
In 2014, Botswana banned elephant hunting. Why? The government at the time didn't believe they needed it. Today, Botswana is home to the world's largest elephant population. Estimates range from 130,000 to about 180,000 of them. That's a lot of elephants. But there's a proverbial elephant in the room. When the hunting ban came in, local communities were told they could replace the income they got from hunting with photographics and ecotourism. All their jobs would have been saved. Money would continue to come into the trust to support the communities. All the good things would happen. Unfortunately, those promises didn't work for everyone. With a change in government in 2019, the government lifted the restrictions on elephant hunting. So what happened to the people of the country when the hunting ban came in? Why was it repealed? And what's been going on since? That's really what I wanted to know and what I wanted to show you. So I started at a place where the impact was felt the most. Sankuyu village in NG34, where our fixer Bones met us and helped us outline the issues.
Okay, that's good. So this place is photographic for the next 15 years, essentially, till 2029. What's the sentiment? Is the sentiment that it's been good for the community? Is this the sentiment that we want both hunting and ecotourism back? Do they want hunting back?
Initially, when in 2014, when the hunting ban was introduced, they had no option actually to fully switch to photographic, because they have already did the management plan in the first place.
They're stuck.
So, yeah, they were stuck with the management plan. But there have been suggestions. I've been hearing a lot of people, especially in Sankuyu, suggesting that they want to reintroduce, hunting. But they were even suggesting to actually do a new management plan or to review the old management plan and do hunting just on the village, on the zone where the village is right now. Mm-hmm. Because in their view, that was going to be effective in preventing human and wildlife conflict, because they're having a lot of wildlife coming into the village.
Nna ke bidwa Anton Karapo gore ke mone wa resident ya Sankuyu, mme ke fela gore hunting e monate nako ya rona ne re ina mo yone. Do tse dintsi tse di diragala ke kgona gore dinama ye jilwe ye hudilwe ye kgona go ta ko metsi go sina tala go sina eng. Ya no na kwa gompieno yana re na le mathata a tala ithasetse diphologolo le tsone di ntse di tsamaya ntse di jahela mo metsing re limela dito.
It was becoming obvious to me that the hunting ban had led to the loss of jobs and income for these people, for these trusts, for these communities, who really couldn't make the most of ecotourism. But what hit right at the heart of these communities wasn't really the lack of money or jobs. It was the conflict occurring between elephants and people.
So people come to get water here?
Yeah. Ming
mo dingwageng tsone tse di itileng tse go ntse go na le conflict tota e tona ka ditlou gore hela metsi a kgala gongwe le gongwe di a lata gone ga yaanong di tlile go thuba ha banni ba motse ba hella ba lala gone mo didibentse ba leta metsi a bone gore tsona ditsana di a senya di a katela ka moso dikgomo ga di nwe metsi. That is why we thought, hunting will help us chase them away. Because they are very clever. Once they will start moving away.
Ya go tela go ora re nna le taga ke re
mala
go go taga le go gametsi gata go go ne le tugone
di nna te tata bile go nna go ene ya selemo ga go tsoma ke re go sera mo pele go tsena selemo ta bo di nna te ya go semetsa khadilela go morago ya go nna nako tse bile maitse boya gore ga go gella metsi ka gore di abo di wela
so go mo ke ra rena go le senya ya go mo go ma tsone bo tuya lo ala di tshaba go ira galang
ra di tshaba ke di phatsa mo matshelong re ana go rata ga go tsena go etsa botitla gona gore re fose ga gore re ge le metsi gantsi msegare
bona go le wa ditela ke la rata go ditela
ke di testa ta gantsi
a bo ira
ra bua ela re bona to ra bua re bona go morago mo re letse ma wildlife.
And we just came down to the river that separates the Sapako village and came right to the spot. There's elephant shit everywhere. There's a big family group of elephants. We're gonna come back down to drink right now. These guys live with elephants every day.
Mem mo kgweding tse di tang a gona ngwana o ka tswang kwa ka sekisa a rota sekolong ka kwa gore a emela gore tsatsi le thato gope
Living so close to animals is a constant threat for the people of Botswana. In this one village, we found wildlife tracks right next to our house, which brought to reality how closely these villagers live to wildlife. Here, look here. This is buffalo tracks right here, 6 foot from the house. And then right behind me is old elephant dung. So you talk about living with animals, living with elephants and buffalo, like there's the dung, there's the tracks.
Di setse di re beile mo semong se se maswe di a senya di bolaya batho o di a mo re santse re bata di go tsa motho mo boyana yo bolaileng ke to
ntate Isaac Tshwane o bolele ke to ga tona o na dule e re la a tswa ko a ba kopana le to di to kwano di dintsi gape di senyetsa batho
kana kgaolo ya rona ka kwano tota re badimo barui batho ba bantsi ba setse ba ithogile mo temong ka mabaka a ditoro.
If you look at, for example, our farming areas where elephants are not supposed to be, and there are about 26,000 elephants in farming areas that are not supposed to be, then it means that if they were evenly distributed, a farmer is never further than 400 meters away from an elephant.
Dina la me ke video ba ba lang ke lekang ke a lemang ke le ka go jesa bongwanake mme hela se se leng teng go na le phologolo go tinto ga ya ntshidise boroko tota nna ke le nosi a ga khona tsela le to so to ina le tshenyo intsi wa tratele a khaola e ja dijalo e ja dijo tse dintsi so ke paletse ka ntata dito so yana ke paletse hore nka dira ke re gompieno so ke tla tshela ya le tsona go ntse se go ntse yana okay ha le rata re tshele le tsone ke itshireletsa ka eng mo to ya mpola ke ntse ke lebeletse ano so nna nga khona tsela ditou so a ditou tsote tse di mo area re yona di bolawa.
Today's social media allows everyone to really have a soapbox for their opinion. But the only true way to understand the issues these folks are facing is if you're eye to eye with them. It was heartbreaking to hear firsthand these very personal stories of the repercussions of the hunting ban, these consequences of the ban, which led me to want to understand why it was implemented in the first place. The rhetoric that was used to advocate for the ban was that all the jobs lost by the banning of hunting would be replaced completely by one big savior, ecotourism. Could that be true? Is that even possible? So to find out if ecotourism is a viable alternative for all communities in Botswana, we decided to go on a road trip. A 2-day drive to the other side of the delta and one of the furthest places you can get to, NG13. But why did we pick NG13? Firstly, it's super hard to get to.
Talk a little bit about the drive we're doing.
I don't know how long we'll drive today, 10 hours or so. It should all be tar road until Shikawi, and then it's going over a bridge and then onto a really bad road for I don't know how many hours. But we're trying to show that there are certain places here in Botswana that no tourist would do what we are doing today to go see animals. Number one, it's too far. Number two, it's too uncomfortable. Number three, density and diversity of animals of where we're going is not something that photographics would be interested in seeing anyway. But it is what a hunter's do. Secondly, as well as being super hard to get to, we knew the journey to NG13 would also reinforce the fact that human-wildlife conflict is an ever-present issue all across Botswana. Everything on the line to make noise to keep the elephants out. Must have massive issues. So these are bus shelters, elephant bus shelters that we've seen all along this corridor from Shikawi all the way to Gidigwa. And you can see these corridors that they've created that are encouraging people not to live in the corridors. And so again, all this area, no people, good habitats, but when it gets dry, all these animals will migrate down to the water. And so you've got this massive conflict zone right here. We just came across the only water for 2 hours. We've seen nothing. See water all of a sudden, all these elephants. These are all new elephants. There's elephants already in the water. This is what's happening here. Cattle, you can hear cattle in the background. You've seen a bunch of vehicles go past, and you've got little ones. You can see all sides of little ones. We actually saw a tiny one trying to get out of the mud.
A trophy hunter has killed one of Botswana's few remaining tusker elephants.
Thirdly, NG13 has been in global news headlines because of a very large elephant that was hunted in the area in 2022. Because of this, there have been several fingers pointed for it to be turned into an ecotourism area.
Photos of hunter Leon with the elephant have ignited international outrage and debate.
Lastly, it is a very big area that is a great representative for the habitat type and typically low population density found across most of northern and eastern Botswana. Are you in low four-wheel drive?
Yeah. No, we're in too high, Robbie.
Fuck off, Jack.
Tracks.
Shoveling with my hand.
So, gonna have to do some digging now. And also I broke my sunglasses, so I'm borrowing these from Patrick.
None of that's solid, is it?
Another factor to consider for NG13 was the fact that nobody had been interested in the area from a photographic standpoint for the entire duration of the hunting ban. Why? One stock truck already, but I think we are done. Div locks engaged. Like NG13 is this way, NG14 is this way. Have you seen any wildlife?
Not a single thing.
I've seen 2 impala and some elephant shit. There's nothing out here. Now what I was saying to Bones in there is, yeah, it's, you can try and convert this to ecotourism, right? You've got the buffalo fence, let's try. Sink water holes, wildlife will come. But why would someone come here? Why would someone fly here? Why would someone chopper here? It's Mopani raisin bush veld that has elephant, zebra, ostrich. It'll then have impala, sable, roan. But you can see that anywhere, right? You can go anywhere. Why would you fly to Mountain and then fly here? Just fly to the Delta, fly to Makati.
Yeah. This is a lot more trouble than it's worth.
Why would you come here?
Yeah.
So what this is showing is that there are places that are just, you could do ecotourism, yes. Would people come? Had anybody been in NG13 before you arrived?
No, there was absolutely nobody.
So nobody had seen any potential in NG13 before you decided, I want to be here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why?
I think because it's a marginal area. It's completely undeveloped. When I say marginal, it's quite seasonal in the sense it doesn't have any permanent water. Sometimes the pans last until October, sometimes November. So, the game moves out. There is a lot of resident game that stays behind, but it's not, I don't know how you say it, aesthetically pleasing.
So why didn't you, from a business standpoint, decide we're going to do photographics here?
It's just completely unviable. It is the most remote concession and undeveloped concession in the country. The ban been in place, 4 or 5 years? Nobody has even made an inquiry to come here and to have a look. Even flown over with a helicopter because they know that it's not viable. It's too far, it's too remote, too costly to develop, and it's not a great site for ecotourism.
It's actually quite beautiful. All the grassland and the open areas and whatnot, it's actually beautiful here. So I can see why an ecotourist would be like, you could bring an ecotourist here, but there's nothing here. And even though there's water right in front of the camp, there's nothing here. So we're gonna prove this a little bit more. Lewis, you want to take a game drive later? Yep. I think we should take a game drive. The statistics and the data say that if it goes over 6 minutes between encounters, between seeing animals, then the area is not really conducive for photographics. And the other thing is, when you do a photographic drive, you obviously have to drive at a very slow pace. And the roads here are deep deep sand roads. You just can't help but get bucked around. But that's just it. You got to go on a game drive. So. So 16 minutes, 50 seconds. There's a wildebeest bull. You can't see it right now, it's tucked in behind, but that's the first animal we've seen in 17 minutes. Minutes. Second animal. Nice bull giraffe. There's lots of animals here, like we were just walking around a pan that has water in it, and there's all sorts of scat around the pan. It's not like there's no animals here. Just not seeing them. Leon, someone will say, you're not seeing animals here because you're hunting them. They're scared of the vehicles, they're scared of people because you're hunting them and you're knocking their populations down.
Well, I would invite those people to come and have a look.
How many animals do you get to kill every year?
To look after this concession, to make it viable and viable to the communities. It's not quite there yet, but there's only 5 elephant in almost 500,000 hectares, 1 million acres. We've got 10 zebra, which we don't utilize. We've got 5 wildebeest, maybe 2 or 3 steenbok, 2 or 3 duiker, I think 1 or 2 ostrich, and that's all on quota. And, that's got to sustain this whole thing, this whole operation, the whole conservation aspect, the development of the area, putting in water points, building a camp, employment, and of course the community and the government fees.
Today we experienced a place in Africa that very, very, very few people get to see. It was magnificent, it was beautiful, but there were very few animals out here. So when you look at a place like this place is Africa. It is the wild of Africa that we, as hunters, as people around the world that have an interest in wildlife conservation, should desire to protect. What's going to protect this land? There is opportunity for the marriage of ecotourism and hunting through selective use of small areas in every concession.
Yeah.
And you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. That's how it worked prior to the ban. Almost all concessions were split into hunting and photographic, and there was never a problem. Obviously, the prime sites went to the photographic, and the backcountry went to hunting. And the same thing now. I mean, in the Okavango itself, I think besides maybe Mababi, there is no hunting. It's all tourist lodges. Now, what the hunting concessions do is they create a buffer around the Okavango, around those protected areas, and it's vital for game movement and habitat.
In some areas, like NG13, photojournalism isn't just difficult, it's impossible. And honestly, nobody wants to do it. There isn't the infrastructure, or enough animals, or in my opinion, willingness of enough tourist volume to support that type of ecotourism effort being in NG13 and pretty much being everywhere in Botswana. So something had to give, right? So in 2019, the Botswana government repealed the trophy hunting ban on elephants. Just how much has this return of elephant hunting changed their lives?
For 2014 to 2018 was very difficult years for us. I don't think it was only Sankuyu village. I think other villages around, they had these hardships. And then the current president opened hunting again. And already we had shifted to photographic, but we have a piece of land which now we're planning to start hunting in it. Other villages started hunting and they are doing very fine. Like Mababe, hunting has started and life has changed to the better.
This is Mababe. It's a village in NG41. Super rural, super poor. They depend on hunting and depend on ecotourism to survive, essentially. Without hunting and ecotourism, there's no jobs here. We want to understand what hunting means to them and what ecotourism means to them. Do they like hunting? Do they not like hunting? Let's just get their truth, really, get their opinions.
Gore letsomo le le tsenya madi mo trust. So ha letsomo le leme ha gona letseno le tsena mo trust. Mo go dirang gore bana ba ba sponsoriwa ke trust ba ya dikolo ba ema ha ba se tlhole ba ya go dikolo. Letseno ba go di ba tsa madi a pension a ema ha ba se tlhole ba tsa.
Letsomo le mosola la thata mo community mo motse wa rona. Le re thusela thata na re kotase me gompieno re tsweletse re na le madi mo go tsa mate le tsomo bana ba rona ba bereka ba le bantsi hela thata yana le tsomo le mosola hela thata mo Mababe re akola thata mo letsomo letsomo le re thusela thata ka gore re janama.
Do all that meat, you see all that meat that's hanging over there?
Yeah.
That's buffalo and elephant meat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's essentially the only protein that they get here.
How did you get it so high? Did you throw it up there? Huh? They climbed up there. Someone that is sitting on their couch, who's been fed a lot of rhetoric, is going to say very basically, why would anyone shoot an elephant?
Yeah. It's not about killing an elephant. It's about hunting. And hunting is not guaranteed. Especially out here, we've got, 1 million acres and it's remote, it's undeveloped. It's about the challenge of hunting an elephant. It's not shooting, it's elephant hunting.
One of the things that we had been hoping for in this documentary was an opportunity to film an elephant hunt or to witness an elephant that had been hunted. This very morning we woke up to the news that an elephant had been hunted and killed the night before. And so we dropped everything and decided to head in the direction of where the elephant lay. It took us about 4.5 hours of driving through some very, very desolate areas of NG41, and we finally came to the elephant.
Shit, it's an old elephant.
Well, the tusk is out the ground.
It looks like a 40-year-old, 45-year-old elephant. Probably the same age as me. But near the end of its life, right? It's got like maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years left to go. It's almost a moral conundrum, like, is this necessary? And it is essentially, but it's fucking sad still. But then you know, like, from here, like what this animal's going to do. Like, look at all the people standing around, where this animal's going, the mouth that it's going to feed. It's just, like, how do you replicate that? You can't. There's 130,000 of these things in Botswana. 130,000. Is it not a resource that they can use? It's not a resource that is usable? It is, but it's an elephant. It's not a cow. So.
Top.
So a lot of people will say the meat goes nowhere, right? Nobody utilizes the meat. Elephant meat is not eaten by anyone. And unfortunately, the hunting industry has done itself a disservice because most often all hunting videos end here. But this is where the most important part of this elephant hunt actually begins, and where the meat actually goes and who it benefits.
Ka ke rile semvula ka kgolola ke tsenya letswai e be ke kgaola ke kala ke rekisa ke kgona go dira botshelo jame le bana ke tswa kgakala le jone ntse ke sa bereke mme ke kgona go bona gore botshelo jame bo botoka go na le yo bereka ka gore ke kgona go boloka madi ha bana ba ya dikwele ke kgona go ba thusa ka ene nama ya toy.
I think the beauty of us being here is that we have gone from the elephant where it was shot all the way to here to it being cut up by villagers. And we spoke with, the 29 staff that were around the elephant loading the elephant. We spoke with the 25 to 30 people that were here cutting up the elephant. And there is zero, not a single person that I spoke to had any remorse, were sad, had any emotion tied to that animal. And it's such a foreign concept for someone like me from the Western world because you have emotion, it's an elephant. Nobody here had that emotion. There was an emotion to describe, it was elation. It was elation that they're doing their job, elation for the meat that got taken, the meat that did get taken off this elephant. They were super happy. So I think if you have to be here, you have to talk to the people, you have to take the journey with them to really understand
this thing that is elephants and elephant hunting and how it helps communities here in Botswana and all over Africa. It's so easy to sit in an armchair in the United Kingdom, in America, in Germany and say, oh, that's a really, really bad thing. But you've never been here, you've never put feet on the ground. Neither had I. But now I've experienced it.
If we didn't hunt elephant in a place like this, there would be no value to the rural communities and to the government to actually conserve it and look after these animals that do occur here. So meat is a massive benefit, employment is a massive benefit, and income to those rural communities is a massive benefit.
Hunting and photographics, they go together extremely well. We talked about harmony between photographics and hunting. The two pieces of this eternal puzzle in Botswana, which is wildlife conservation, they go hand in hand. In places where there's plenty of wildlife, easy access, and permanent water, photographics are an obvious answer to the question of where the money's coming from to support wildlife conservation. But in some places, where tourism isn't viable, there's really only one solution to all of these elephantine problems. Hunting works. Hunting supports. Hunting gives jobs. And though you may hate the activity or the thought of an elephant being hunted or an elephant dying, there's no denying that through hunting, people, wildlife, habitats, communities are benefiting. We are third leg of the trip right now. We're in Nata, very, very east Botswana. We are visiting the community trust here because the community trust was established in 1998. And really their sole revenue for the trust was solely generated from this place, the Nata Bird Sanctuary. Nata is the perfect example where they're taking hunting money and they're investing it into ecotourism projects, this bird sanctuary specifically. The hunting ban got lifted, and 2021 was the first year that CT5, it's an area that belongs to the trust, was able to be hunted. And that hunting quota that was paid to the community trust was 1.8 million pula. Then in 2022, the money was 2.1 million pula.
Ile ka 2021 ga initiatiwa letsomo le leng gore government o na bona go tshwanetse gore di trust le tsone di hiwe diphologolo especially tse di ka kwano tse le gore mo nako ya letsomo le le hitileng le ntse di sa kgone go tsoma. Trust ya Nata Conservation Trust e na hiwa diphologolo ko CT5 mme ba kgona go rekisa diphologolo tseo tse le gore morago re ne ra bona botshelo jo e le gore batho ba ne ba benefita mo metseng ba hiwa madi a go etshetsa le go agelwa dingwe tse le gore le yone project ya Nata Bird Sanctuary ya kgona go tshela ka gore e ne ntse sa dire sentle.
Hunting has brought life to our business.
Give me some examples.
Actually, we are having a lot of development. We are having this platform which is behind us. We are having the curio shop by the gate, which is one of the projects. We are having a campsite, very big campsite, of which we are also having in CT5. We are also building another campsite inside here because of this hunting, which we were not able to do them before, and we wish to be hunting, if possible, forever, because this brought life to our trust.
It's a win.
It's a win.
This is obviously very, very expensive.
Yes, very expensive because things nowadays is very expensive.
How much is this going to cost?
It's going to cost more than 800,000.
800,000
because we have
pula.
with it, what we have done now is like more than 600.
If you didn't have CT5, how long do you think it would have taken you to raise 800,000 pula to build this without CT5?
Another maybe 6 years.
Interestingly, this case of hunting dollars funding the development of non-hunting operations may sound absurd to some, but it was very clear to me that without hunting in this area, the Nata Community Trust would be in very dire straits. Without the money hunting is now bringing to the trust, they would not only be unable to continue funding the bird sanctuary, they would also be unable to fund other developments in their local community, like schools, improving village infrastructure, and building toilets for people without basic sanitation. Hunting is really bringing life to this community. So whenever people talk about an activity, they talk about a controversial topic, the only way to really tell the truth about something is to go to the place, is to meet the people that are truly, truly affected by the activity. That's what we've done here in Botswana. We have come to Botswana to meet and listen to the people on the ground that are engaged in both ecotourism as well as hunting, and mainly hunting. Hunting is super controversial. We all know it. There are lots of people all over the world that would like to see hunting disappear, would like to see hunting go. But that activity, you could almost challenge the validity of that question. You could challenge the validity of the activity of getting hunting removed. When you say stop hunting, you're not stopping that activity. I want you to think that you're actually stopping all of the benefits that come from it. Would you stop the development of a campsite in an ecotourism place in the Nata Bird Sanctuary? Would you stop a lady taking 2 bags of meat home to her family so that she can sell that meat to generate an economic benefit to her 7 daughters? Would you do that? Because if you're asking to stop hunting, that's what you're stopping. That's who you are affecting. You're affecting the people that live hand to mouth, that we are showing you through this documentary.